What's up guys, welcome to this detailed track guide for the Australia track for the F125 game. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to run through the lap in its completion, and then I'm going to run through it again, slowed down and explained in much more detail. So coming into turn 1 here at the 100 meter board, that's your braking marker, cutting that apex there and making sure you use all the track on exit there because the game allows you to. And now coming into turn number 3 here, just braking after the black box there and just clipping that curb a bit much there, but it's all okay. And then coming through here, late apex, running out wide. And so now coming through, it's just before the 50 meter board here, a slight dab on the brakes down to 6th gear there, using all the track on exit. Just climbing up the gears, keeping to the inside of the track, waiting for the DRS line here, deployed. And now coming into this left-hander here, it's completely flat with just maybe a slight lift of the throttle but no braking, down to 7th for the left-hander and down to 6th for the right-hander, making sure you clip that curve there, really using all the curve. And now here, once again, just before the 100 meter board, braking, bounce on that curve and use all the track on exit there to gain more time. A bit of a late turn in there, try not to touch that curb, as I did there and unsettled the car a bit and I lost some time. And then here just throwing the car in, hitting the apex, and now for this final corner it's fully flat here, keep the throttle pin, do not lift, and then just coming up to the line, and that's the lap of Australia. So now I'm going to go through the lap in much more detail, explaining certain driving techniques. Now for this first sector I'm going to use an example from a previous lap because I felt like I executed the corners a bit better, so it'd be a better example to use when explaining these techniques. So coming into turn 1, you're going to already be braking at the 100 meter board here on the left. So braking now, down to 5th gear. At this point we're going to want to be making sure we cut into this curb as much as we can without exceeding the track limits. And now in terms of your eye placement, you should be looking towards the exit of the corner around here. So be looking at that part of the track at this point. This will get it into your mind earlier. Always look further ahead. Look to where you're going to want to place your car in the future. So now coming into turn number 3 here, I'm going to want to be braking just after this 100 meter board here. And now I'm just going to go over trail braking. So you can see here, I'm fully on the brakes. And as you can see, I am not steering at all. Now the trick is, as you start to steer, you lift off the brakes, and the more steering lock you put on, the less you brake. You can see here, the more I'm turning, the less I'm braking. As a general rule of thumb, you want to be fully off the brakes as you're at the apex of the corner. That's just a general rule. It can, sometimes it can be different for other types of corners, but generally, as a rule of thumb, that's what I like to go for. Now you can see here, using all the track on the outside. Now here, you're going to want to aim for a later apex, just so you can get a better ride off the corner. And now at this point, once again, looking further ahead towards the exit of the corner. Always, like I said, look to where you're going to want to place your car in the future and you'll find more time. So now coming into the second sector here, you're just going to want to have a little dab on the brakes and turn in just before the 50 meter board. Down to 6th gear, use this curb on the right, and once again looking further ahead to the exit of the corner. Got a little bit out of shape there, but you can't always get it perfect, but in general it's still a pretty good exit here. So now coming down the straight, once again just make sure you open the DRS on time here. Now coming into this corner, this left right hander can be quite tricky. You're going to not want to brake at all, and you're going to want to steer just before the 50 meter board. That's when you're going to want to turn in, but make sure it's just a tiny little lift off the throttle. Do not brake for this corner. So it's down to 7th gear, a bit of engine braking, but don't actually apply the brakes. And then it's down to 6th gear here. Make sure you cut that curb there, and you can gain a lot more time, as you can see there on the Delta. I did mess up that corner a little bit on the previous lap, but in general, it's still a very good exit. Now this corner, you're going to want to be braking at the 100 meter board, so not after it. You want to be braking at the 100 meter board. And now this corner, it's very, very important here that you absolutely grab a lot of this curb here. That's what I found. It gave me a lot of time. You grab a lot of curb there. I could have gone on it a bit more actually, as I did on the previous lap, which meant I actually lost a tiny bit of time here. And now once again, looking further ahead, you now want to be looking at the exit of the corner here. Make sure you use all of this curb on the outside here. It's very, very important to do so. So now for this corner, once again, keep the throttle pin, do not brake, do not even lift, and you're going to want to be steering just after this orange part of the wall on the side here. That's when you're going to want to be steering in, just at that orange part. And try not to clip this curb. I did, and it unsettles the car, and you'll see I lose a bit of time. Now for this corner here, you're going to want to be braking once again just after this orange part of the wall here. You're going to want to be braking. Hold the steering straight for the initial braking, and then once again lifting off the brakes as you steer. I was utilising the flick steering because it's still a thing, unfortunately, on this game. And once again, keeping the throttle pinned through this last corner. Do not lift. Honestly, like, you'll be surprised how much grip there actually is on this year's game. Yeah, you can carry that flat. So that is a lap of Australia. I hope you guys found that useful, and I hope that it's shaved some time off your lap times. Make sure you do leave a like and subscribe, just so I know that whether or not you found this video useful, and in that case I'll continue doing them, otherwise it's not really much point. And also leave a comment if you have any suggestions. Thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you later.